Breaking soulmate news, they finally understand what they lost, now they're gathering the courage to come back to you. My beloved child, listen carefully because this message has reached you at a powerful moment. Something has changed behind the scenes, something you may not be able to see yet, but something your heart may already be sensing. The person connected to this soulmate story has been going through an emotional realization that is becoming harder and harder for them to ignore. They are beginning to understand what your presence truly meant in their life. They are beginning to recognize the difference between having someone around and having someone who genuinely understands their heart. My beloved child, there was a time when they may have believed they could simply walk away and continue living as though nothing important had happened. They may have convinced themselves that time would erase the memories, that distance would weaken the emotions, and that eventually they would stop thinking about you. But something unexpected happened. The distance gave them more time to think. The silence gave their memories more room to speak. And the absence of your presence began showing them exactly what they had taken for granted. They are realizing that your connection was not as ordinary as they once tried to make it seem. They are remembering the conversations, the laughter, the emotional moments, the little details, and the feeling of being understood. They are remembering how naturally they could talk to you, how deeply you could sense what they were feeling, and how your presence could bring comfort even when you said very little. My beloved child, sometimes people only understand the value of something after they no longer have easy access to it. Your soulmate may now be experiencing that realization. They may be looking at their life and asking themselves why certain things still feel incomplete. They may have tried to distract themselves. They may have tried to move forward quickly. They may have tried to convince themselves that another person, another experience, or another chapter could replace what they had with you. But replacement is not the same as healing. Distraction is not the same as peace. And temporary excitement is not the same as emotional connection. Deep inside, they know there was something different about you. My beloved child, they may not have understood it when you were close because familiarity can sometimes hide value. When someone is always available, their presence can become part of the background of life. But when that presence disappears, the heart begins noticing everything that is missing. They may now remember the way you cared without demanding attention. They may remember how you supported them when they were struggling. They may remember the patience you showed when they were confused. They may remember the times you tried to understand them even when they could not explain themselves. And those memories are becoming stronger. My beloved child, there is a reason they keep returning to your memory. The heart has a strange way of returning to unfinished stories. It brings back conversations that were never completed. It brings back questions that were never answered. It brings back emotions that were never fully expressed. Your soulmate may be realizing that they left too many things unsaid. They may be thinking about what they would tell you if they had another opportunity. They may be imagining how different things could have been if they had been more honest. They may be wondering whether you would still listen. They may be wondering whether you still care. They may even fear that you have completely moved on. My beloved child, this fear can be one of the strongest reasons a person delays reaching out. They may want to contact you but hesitate because they do not know what your response will be. They may wonder whether you will reject them. They may wonder whether you will remind them of their past mistakes. They may wonder whether they still have a place in your heart. And perhaps they are realizing that they cannot simply return expecting everything to be exactly as it was. Something has changed. You have changed. Your perspective has changed. Your standards have changed. You have learned that love must include respect, honesty, consistency, and effort. You are no longer willing to carry an entire relationship alone. My beloved child, this is important because if your soulmate comes back, they will need to meet the new version of you. They cannot expect the old patterns to continue. They cannot disappear and return whenever they feel lonely. They cannot offer beautiful words without meaningful actions. They cannot ask for your heart while refusing to protect it. If they truly understand what they lost, they will also understand what must change. They will understand that your trust cannot be demanded. It must be earned again. They will understand that your peace is precious. They will understand that you are not waiting for someone to rescue you. You are already standing on your own. My beloved child, perhaps this is why their approach is taking time. They may be gathering courage. They may be trying to understand their own emotions before speaking to you. They may be thinking about the right words. They may start a message and delete it. They may write something simple and then wonder whether it is enough. They may want to say everything but fear that saying too much will expose how deeply they still care. This inner conflict can create silence. But silence does not always mean absence of feeling. Sometimes silence is the place where courage is being built. My beloved child, there may be nights when they think about you more intensely than they would ever admit. When everything becomes quiet, distractions disappear, and the heart becomes louder. Those are the moments when memories can become impossible to ignore. They may remember your face. They may remember your voice. They may remember your kindness. They may remember a specific conversation that seemed ordinary at the time but now feels incredibly meaningful. They may remember the way you looked at them. They may remember the comfort they felt around you. And they may finally understand that they were experiencing something valuable while they were still too distracted to appreciate it. My beloved child, their realization may also be connected to experiences they have had since you were apart. Perhaps they met people who did not understand them. Perhaps they experienced relationships that looked good from the outside but lacked emotional depth. Perhaps they discovered that attention is easy to find but genuine understanding is rare. Perhaps they learned that someone can be physically present while emotionally unavailable. These experiences can make a person look back with new eyes. They may begin comparing what they have now with what they once had with you. And the comparison may be revealing something they cannot deny. You brought a kind of emotional safety that they did not fully appreciate. You offered something that was not based only on attraction or excitement. There was a deeper sense of connection. My beloved child, this does not mean you should stop living your life and wait for them. Never place your entire future on someone else's decision. Your life is moving forward whether they return or not. Your purpose is larger than this relationship. Your happiness cannot depend entirely on whether a person sends a message. Your peace cannot depend on whether someone finally realizes your worth. You were worthy before they realized it. You were valuable before they missed you. You were deserving of love before they understood what they had. My beloved child, this is the moment to remember that your greatest transformation happened while they were away. You learn to stand without their attention. You learn to stop checking for signs every moment. You learn to live through uncertainty. You learn to become emotionally stronger. You learn that you could survive the silence. You learn that you could still smile. You learn that your heart could heal without receiving every answer. That growth is powerful. And if they return, they will encounter someone who is no longer desperate for their approval. They will encounter someone who can love deeply while still protecting their own dignity. My beloved child, perhaps the most surprising part of their realization is that they may now understand why you pulled away. They may have once interpreted your distance as anger or rejection. But now they may see that you were protecting yourself. They may understand that you were tired of confusion. They may understand that you needed consistency. They may realize that you were not asking for too much. You were simply asking for the bare minimum of emotional honesty. And this realization can create regret. They may think about moments when they could have chosen differently. They may replay situations in their mind and wonder why they behaved the way they did. They may wish they had communicated instead of disappearing. They may wish they had trusted their feelings instead of running from them. They may wish they had been brave when you were still close. My beloved child, regret can be painful, but it can also become a teacher. If they are genuinely learning from the past, their regret can transform into responsibility. They may begin thinking about how to approach you differently. They may realize that a simple, "I miss you," is not enough. They may need to explain. They may need to apologize. They may need to acknowledge what happened. They may need to show that they have grown. This is where their courage matters. My beloved child, if they make a bold move, it may begin quietly. Do not expect the first sign to look like a dramatic declaration. It may be a small message. It may be a simple question. It may be an attempt to reconnect. It may be an unexpected conversation. Sometimes a person who has been afraid to express deep emotion starts with something small because they are testing whether the connection is still alive. If this happens, remain calm. Do not immediately assume everything is solved. Let the conversation develop naturally. Listen to what they say. Notice how they communicate. More importantly, watch what they do afterward. My beloved child, actions are where realization becomes real. Anyone can say they miss you. Anyone can say they have changed. Anyone can make promises during an emotional moment. But consistency reveals intention. If they truly want to rebuild, they will continue showing up. They will communicate. They will respect your boundaries. They will make effort. They will not repeatedly create confusion. They will understand that rebuilding trust takes time. My beloved child, you do not need to punish them for their past, but you also do not need to erase it. Forgiveness and wisdom can exist together. You can forgive someone without giving them immediate access to everything they once had. You can care about someone while still asking them to prove that their behavior has changed. You can hear an apology while still needing time before you trust again. This is not cruelty. This is self-respect. My beloved child, there is something else happening within your soulmate. They may be realizing that they were not actually afraid of you. They were afraid of what being with you required them to become. A genuine connection can force a person to confront themselves. It can reveal insecurities. It can expose emotional wounds. It can require honesty. It can require commitment. It can require vulnerability. Perhaps they were not ready for that level of emotional responsibility before. But now life has been teaching them. Maybe they have experienced situations that forced them to mature. Maybe they have faced consequences from their choices. Maybe they have learned that avoiding difficult conversations does not make problems disappear. And perhaps now they are ready to approach the connection differently. My beloved child, their realization is not simply that they miss you. Their deeper realization may be that they were not ready to appreciate what they had. That is a very different understanding. Missing you says, I feel your absence. Realizing what they lost says, I understand your value. And when that understanding becomes strong enough, it can inspire someone to take action. My beloved child, you may have spent months or years wondering whether they would ever understand. Perhaps you questioned whether they cared. Perhaps you wondered whether you imagined the connection. But remember that your experience was real to you. You do not need someone else to validate every emotion you experienced. What happened shaped you. It taught you. It helped you grow. And now you are stronger because of it. If they return, you can decide what place they deserve in your life based on who they are now, not simply who they were before. My beloved child, this is why the future should not be feared. You do not need to know exactly what happens next. You only need to remain grounded enough to recognize truth when it appears. If they come with sincerity, you will recognize it. If they come with temporary loneliness, you will recognize that too. If they come with genuine intentions, time will reveal it. If they come with confusion, you will be able to step back. You have learned discernment. Trust yourself. My beloved child, perhaps they have been watching from a distance. Perhaps they have noticed your changes. Perhaps they see that you are not the same person you were before. Maybe they have noticed that you seem more peaceful. Maybe they sense that you are no longer chasing. And this can create a new realization inside them, they could actually lose you. Not because you are trying to make them jealous. Not because you are playing games. But because you are genuinely moving forward. That realization can be powerful. Sometimes people only understand urgency when they realize time is moving. Your life is moving. Their life is moving. And opportunities do not remain open forever. My beloved child, if they truly want another chance, they will eventually need to act. They cannot remain forever inside their thoughts. They cannot spend forever imagining what they would say. At some point, courage must replace hesitation. This may be the stage they are approaching now. They may be gathering the strength to reach out. They may be deciding whether to risk rejection for the possibility of reconciliation. They may be asking themselves whether one honest conversation could change everything. And perhaps that question is becoming impossible to ignore. My beloved child, remember that you do not have to make the first move just to prove that you still care. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is allow another person to demonstrate their intention. If they want to reconnect, give them the opportunity to take responsibility for that desire. Let them initiate. Let them communicate. Let them show you what they have learned. Your heart does not need to chase after evidence. Evidence should come toward you through action. My beloved child, this chapter is about more than romance. It is about self-worth. It is about emotional maturity. It is about recognizing that love should not require constant uncertainty. If your soulmate comes back, the connection must become more balanced. Both people must participate. Both people must communicate. Both people must be willing to grow. Both people must protect the connection. That is how something meaningful can survive. My beloved child, perhaps you once believed that love meant holding on no matter what. Now you are learning that love can also mean releasing control. You can love someone and let them choose. You can care and still step back. You can hope without becoming dependent on the outcome. This is freedom. And from this place of freedom, you become much more capable of building healthy love. My beloved child, the person who once walked away may now be walking through their own emotional maze. They may be confronting the reasons they ran. They may be questioning their fears. They may be realizing that the connection they abandoned was not something they could simply replace. They may be discovering that the heart remembers what the mind tries to forget. They may be realizing that certain connections leave an imprint. And perhaps your connection left a deeper imprint than they were prepared to admit. My beloved child, let them discover that truth for themselves. You do not need to convince them. You do not need to remind them of every beautiful memory. You do not need to explain why you were important. If they truly care, their own heart will lead them toward the realization. And when they finally come forward, you will have the opportunity to decide whether their return aligns with your peace. My beloved child, something is shifting. Their old certainty is becoming uncertainty. Their old confidence is becoming reflection. Their old avoidance is becoming curiosity. Their old silence is becoming a desire to speak. Their old belief that they could simply move on is being challenged by memories that keep returning. And perhaps the greatest shift of all is that they are beginning to see you not as someone from their past, but as someone they may still want in their future. That realization can change everything. My beloved child, do not let excitement make you forget wisdom. If a message arrives, breathe before responding. If they call, listen carefully. If they confess, ask yourself whether their actions support their words. If they ask for another chance, remember that another chance should come with another approach. You are not reopening the same door so that the same story can repeat. You are considering whether a new chapter can be written. My beloved child, you have the right to move slowly. You have the right to ask questions. You have the right to protect your emotional space. You have the right to say yes, and you have the right to say no. Your soulmate's realization does not create an obligation for you. Their regret does not require you to return. Their longing does not require you to sacrifice your peace. If you choose to reconnect, do it because you genuinely want to, not because you feel responsible for their emotions. My beloved child, perhaps this is exactly what makes your energy different now. You are no longer begging to be chosen. You are becoming someone who chooses wisely. And that transformation is beautiful. It means that if your soulmate returns, you can meet them as an equal. You can have a real conversation. You can discuss what happened. You can talk about what you both want. You can decide whether the connection has a future. And if it does, it can be built from a healthier foundation. My beloved child, remember this sentence today: you do not need to chase what is genuinely choosing you. If someone truly wants to be part of your life, they will eventually find the courage to make that clear. They may be afraid. They may hesitate. They may move slowly. But genuine intention eventually produces action. So remain calm. Keep living. Keep growing. Keep becoming stronger. Let them face their own emotions. Let them decide what they are willing to risk. Let them decide whether they are ready to speak. And if they come, receive the moment with wisdom. My beloved child, your soulmate may finally understand that what they lost was not simply a relationship. They lost access to a heart that genuinely cared. They lost the comfort of someone who understood them. They lost the opportunity to build something meaningful with someone who saw beyond their surface. And now they may be realizing that some things cannot be easily replaced. Some people leave an imprint. Some connection